But if this guy's health checks out for the Chargers, we are talking about potentially one of the steals of the draft. What's up, guys? Brentley Wiseman here over at the Draft Network, and we are going to be taking a deep dive into the Los Angeles Chargers 2022 NFL Draft Class. Now, the Chargers had a really good offseason where they put all of their chips into the table. They made some pretty aggressive trades and free agent acquisitions by obtaining edge rusher Khalil Mack to pair next to Joey Bosa, as well as going out and grabbing the number one corner in free agency, J.C. Jackson, to shore up their defensive backfield. Having a young quarterback like Justin Herbert has allowed Tom Telesco and head coach Brandon Staley to be this aggressive because they understand now is the time to really kind of take their swing with their young quarterback on their rookie contract. So this draft was really all about, okay, what can we do to add to this roster to be able to then compete for a Super Bowl? Make no mistake, this team is ready to compete for a Super Bowl. That being said, let's dive in. Round one, pick number 17, they went with Zion Johnson, interior offensive lineman out of Boston College. This is one of my favorite picks in the entire draft. Zion Johnson is an outstanding interior offensive lineman. He's really smart, has good hand use, athleticism, outstanding in space, can anchor against the bull rush. And the thing I like about him the most is he is consistent. From snap to snap, his technique, his feet, all look the same. He is a very steady and sound player, and that's something I really value as an interior offensive lineman. This is a player who has started at multiple spots. He's played last year in 2021 at left tackle. You see him have starts at left and right guard, and even at the Senior Bowl, he showed he can play some center. Now for the Chargers, I think he will be a day one starter at right guard, really solidifying this offensive line. You think about the pieces they already have in front of Justin Herbert. Rashawn Slater was All-Pro last year as a rookie. They have Matt Filer at left guard. They have Corey Linsley at center. And now being able to add Zion Johnson at right guard. This is a really, really strong unit to protect the young quarterback. So I loved this pick. For their next pick, it wasn't until round 3 because they're traded their second round pick for Khalil Mack, as I had mentioned. But for their third round pick, at numbered 79th overall, was J.T. Woods, safety out of Baylor. Now, this is a player I got to late into the process, but one I absolutely fell in love with. You think about a safety that has range, instincts, and ball skills, that's what J.T. Woods has. He's a verified 4.3 guy at the 40-yard dash, can absolutely fly. You think about him being able to play kind of that single high or split safety zones with Derwin James, who's more of that kind of enforcer in the box. This is an outstanding fit. And while I really love Woods from a ball production standpoint, I think he had, over 6 interceptions last year. So outstanding ball production. But this guy's not afraid to hit in the run game. I know he's a little slight, little slender frame, but he is tough as nails. And so I expect him to really make an impact year one. And don't be surprised if he's the starting free safety over Nasir Adderley, who I know the team's a little iffy on because he's been unavailable. So I think with the Chargers' first 2 picks, they've knocked it out of the park, and we could see 2 day one starters. With the Chargers' next pick in round 4 at 123rd overall, it's running back out of Texas A&M, Isaiah Spiller. Now, this is a player I absolutely loved coming into the evaluation process. The fact that he was left all the way to the 4th round to me is insane. When I graded Isaiah Spiller, I gave him a high second round grade. I think he offers 3 down value as a back that can run the ball between the tackles, a back that can catch out of the backfield and even be split out wide, and a back who's pretty good in pass protection. Now, there are some concerns with his long speed and maybe ability to kind of control the ball as in terms of ball security. He has some fumble issues, but there are, to me, very, very little holes to this guy's game. And so for the Chargers getting in the 4th round is an absolute steal. Now, in terms of his year one impact, I think this is a guy that can make a day one impact as the kind of change of pace back for Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler clearly is extremely talented. I love him as a player, but he is not suited to be a 3 down back kind of in the mold of a bell cow back. That's not Austin Eckler. So I think they needed to lighten up his load, allow him to play more in space, use him more on misdirection, use him on jet sweeps, use him split out wide. Similarly, how they used him early on in his career when the team had Melvin Gordon. I think adding Isaiah Spiller gives them that flexibility to do that with Eckler. And I think this is a home run pick. Spiller's a significant upgrade over Josh Kelly, over Larry Roundtree. So to me, this is one of my favorite picks of the entire draft. Moving down here to round 5, Otito Ogbonnia, interior defensive lineman out of UCLA. To me, this pick's all about how can the Chargers get better at stopping the run. They were a historically bad run-stopping team last year, and they made some improvements in free agency. They signed Sebastian Joseph Day from the Rams. They signed Austin Johnson in free agency to shore up the defensive line. But to me, Ogbonnia really helps as well because that's what he's good at. He is a run stuffer. He's big. He's long. He's physical at the point of attack. He can set an edge. Now, there's some work to be done in terms of him being a pass rusher. But for what the Chargers are going to ask of him, I think he fits a clear, defined role in year one. Look for him to come and be a rotational player behind Joseph Day and Austin Johnson, but a player who will work his way into the rotation. Next pick here, round 6, 195th overall, Jamaree Salyer, interior offensive lineman from Georgia. Now, this is a guy on draft day. We were the third round, I remember, just looking at the board, and I just kept saying to myself, how is Salyer still on the board? You think about a guy who started 2 full years at left tackle for the University of Georgia in the loaded SEC, a player who's long, athletic, is tough, is physical, and has positional versatility because I actually think his best position is going to be inside at guard. How the heck did he last to the 6th round? We come to find out later it was injury concerns, but if this guy's health checks out for the Chargers, we are talking about potentially one of the steals of the draft. And so while the Chargers currently have a solid offensive line from the right guard to the left tackle spot, the right tackle spot is a concern. And I see no reason why Jamaree Salyer can't at least factor in that competition. But at worst, this is an outstanding 6th offensive lineman for the Chargers and a guy who I think could be a swing tackle in year 2 and year 3. Round 6, that is another pick, 215th overall. They got Ja'Sir Taylor, corner out of Wake Forest. You know, in the later rounds, this is all about how can we add to our special teams unit, and I think that's what they're getting in Taylor. Taylor is a long, physical, bump and run corner who's a really good tackler. He's just a guy who, unfortunately, I don't think is going to find a home in the corner rotation because, quite frankly, the Chargers are stacked. They have J.C. Jackson. They have Asante Samuel. They have Michael Davis. I don't see a way for him on the field in year 1 unless it's on special teams. And so I think this is a guy, unless he presents himself as a special teams ace during the preseason, is most likely destined for the practice squad. And for their next pick in the 7th round, number 236 overall, Dean Leonard, corner out of Ole Miss. So back-to-back corners for the Chargers here, which I think is intriguing. Leonard is another height, weight, speed type of prospect. Verified 4.36 40 at the combine, so really good speed, really tough, really flexible hips, good ball skills. Just similar to Ja'Sir Taylor, I don't really see a path for him to make the team as a true corner. So his whole role is going to have to be dedicated to making the team as a gunner and covering kicks. And so I think it'll be fascinating to see the battle between Dean Leonard and Ja'Sir Taylor in training camp and in the preseason. Which one of these late round corners can make that impact on teams? Because that's their only way to make the roster. But both, to me, are very quality practice squad candidates, and I think are both very good late round flyers. And for their next pick in the 7th round, and their very last pick of their draft, at number 260th overall, fullback Xander Hovarth from Purdue. Now, this was a little bit of a head scratcher for me because the team does have Gabe Neighbors under contract at fullback, and so, unless they want to add a competition, I didn't necessarily see the the reasoning behind this pick, but I like the player. He's an athletic player. He's a versatile guy. Can do a lot of things out of the backfield. He's a good blocker in line. But I think if he's going to be able to make the roster and usurp Gabe Neighbors, it's going to be on special teams. It's kind of a common theme here with these last 3 picks. He's going to have to contribute on teams, covering kicks, blocking on the punt return and kick return coverages. And I think he has a chance. And so, this is a kind of late round flyer. I don't hate it. A guy who's probably destined for the practice squad unless he has a really strong preseason. But I'm not mad at a late round flyer here for their last overall pick. That's my take on the Chargers 2022 NFL draft class. Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe for the Draft Network channel to stay tuned for more NFL draft and NFL content.